The Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG is one of the most expensive card games to play, but with websites like yugioh Collectibles, Cherry Collectibles and Australian Yu-Gi-Oh! Auctions, most of the cards you need are only one mouse click away. But what would happen if these sites just disappeared and we were left to source our cards only from sealed product? Rather than relying on these sites, we'd be relying on nothing more than the luck to pull the cards we need to complete our already bullshit expensive Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks. Over the coming weeks and months, starting with nothing more than 3 structure decks and a budget of $60 a week, I am going to build a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck with the goal of reaching the Oceanic World Championship qualifying event. Stick around to see me waste hundreds of dollars, open a ton of sealed product, and hopefully kick a few butts along the way. This is sealed only Yu-Gi-Oh! The Shaddoll Showdown. It is time for another sealed only opening. We are opening up 2 more Breaker of Shadow special editions, 3 more packs Clash Rebellion, and 2 packs of Cybernetic Horizon. Once again, I paid $16 a piece for the Breaker of Shadow special eds, $4 a pack for the Clash of Rebellion, which takes us to a total of $44, and 2 $5 packs of Cybernetic Horizon chasing that Shaddoll Dragon. That takes us to a total of $54, giving us a massive $6 to carry over into another episode. We're getting a few dollars saved up to try and grab something pretty big for our 10th episode, but we're still waiting to see just how much of a budget we've got and what I need to buy for that episode. Remember, the Breaker of Shadows, we are chasing down the Buster Dragon Sword of Destruction, I think it's called. And in the Clash Rebellion packs, we are looking for a copy of Performage Hat Tricker and another Performage Damage Juggler. And in Clash of Rebellion, like I said in the opening, we are chasing that Shaddoll Dragon. We need some massive extra deck plays and some more OTK potential. Will it be our week this week? Let's start off with one of our special editions. Remembering Breaker of Shadow was pretty awesome. It was the first set that came out with a holograph in every single booster. So we're starting off with our promo card, Beast Eyes Pendulum Dragon and Forge of the True Dracos. None of that's usable in our deck, so we will move on quickly. So we're starting off with some Performer Pal and some Super Heavy Samurai. We've got a Wizard. We pulled a Wizard last time, and while it does shut down graveyard effects, it's not the Buster Destruction that we need. Solo. Here come our rares and our holos. What can we get? A Jizakuru and a Gardala. That's pretty good. We're getting a few Kaijus that we might be able to put into the extra deck, or the side deck, sorry. A Tuning Magician, Master Pendulum, the Draco Slayer, and Black Luster Soldier for our other holos. We've got some Shiranui stuff, some more Pendulum support, Cosmo support, and we are still not in possession of one of our destruction swords that we are looking for. Let's put our Kaijus to the front and keep our fingers crossed that the last special ed has something better in it. We are going to open up a packet of Clash of Rebellion here. Can we get that common copy of Performage Hat Tricker? So we're starting off with some Melodious cards, the Balance of Judgment, Rank Up, Extinction on Schedule. Oh, there's a Doggeron. We are getting crushed by the Kaijus today. Good to see. Return of the Red Eyes. There's a Trick Clown that we don't need. A Wavering Eyes, and we are back to the start. We are going to open up a packet of Cybernetic Horizon. Mini Borrel. Maybe this is a Omen. And we have a World Legacy, World Crown, and a Hip Hoshinigan. We are not in the possession of a Borosaur Dragon yet. We'll put that over here. Let's open up our second packet of Clash of Rebellion. All we're looking for are common cards in this set. I don't understand why we can't get our hands on another damage juggler. So we got some rank up cards, Mystery Shell Dragon, a super heavy, here's our rare, and a black metal dragon, Aroma, Ignite Squire, and an Ignition Phoenix. We are taking hits left, right, and center today. We're going to crack into our second special edition. You can see one of our promos is the number 23, Lancelot, Dark Knight of the Underworld, and Beacon of White. And then we have Twilight Ninja, Dino Mist, Robot Buster, Destruction Sword. That's the other one we don't want to pull, the other common one. I believe there are 3. We've pulled the 2 that we actually don't need. Monkey Board, Super Heavy Samurais, Dino Mist, Stegosaurus, another wizard. This is just ridiculous. We've got a Jizakuru, a Steel Cavalry, and Toon Buster Blader for our rares, but I think we've actually got some saving grace here when it comes to the holos. We have a Cosmo Saw Trooper, a Master Pendulum, and a secret rare Solemn Strike. I remember pulling one of these back at the sneak peek, and it was such a good card. This is actually really, really good. Unfortunately, it's not the Buster Destruction card that we are looking for. There's still a little bit of hope with what we have at the end of the pack, but it doesn't look like we are going to get that. Let's put our Solemn Strike on top. We didn't pull the common card that we needed, but we did manage to nab a secret rare Solemn Strike. How good does that look? We have 2 packs left. We are going to go in for the Cybernetic Horizon. We are going to put 3 to the front. We have a Crusader, a Metaphyz, a Link Devotee, World Legacy's Memory, a Contact Gate, Restoration Point Guard, a Crossbreed. I think we might have an Ultra Rare. It's a Crusader Equimax. Well, we can't really use that in our Shaddoll strategy, but not a bad Ultra Rare to pull. And it is first edition, so it'll go into the collection binder. Not awful. It's a shame we didn't get our hands on the Borosaur Dragon, but yeah, you never know. Maybe in the future. And here is our final pack of Clash of Rebellion. We are looking for some clowns. Please, where are these clowns? We have an Extinction on schedule. Another Mystery Shell Dragon. A Kyoto Waterfront. An Aroma Jar. An Ignite Lancia. Oh, a secret rare Aramage Jasmine. Wow. This card's probably worth something as well. Shame it's not the common clowns that we're looking for though. A Trick Box, a Backup Rider, an Ignite Gallant. And we are still trying to hunt down those 2 common cards that we need. All in all, we did pretty well today. We got an Ultra Rare Crusader Equimax, we pulled a Secret Rare Aramage Jasmine, and a Secret Rare Solemn Strike out of our Breaker of Shadow Special Edition. We pulled a few different Kaiju cards that might actually come in handy for some side deck action. Where is our other? It must be in the other pile here. There's the Jizakuru. And we pulled a Dogoran in our Clash of Rebellion packs. It's a shame that Trick Clown wasn't the hat tricker that we've been chasing. But anyway, it looks like we've got some potential changes to the deck. So I'm going to sit down with the side deck, make a couple of changes, and we'll come back for some live dueling. I'll see you on the other side. This is probably the best opening we've had yet, but there are plenty more to come. See you in the duels. Welcome back. That opening was pretty special, don't you think? That secret rare Solemn strike was absolutely gorgeous to pull. We've thrown that in the deck, and we have a couple of other changes I want to go through today. I thought it's been a while since I've given you a full deck profile, so I'm going to quickly run through the deck. It will be in the description down below, so if you want to skip through this part, check out the description. Before we do that though, I will take you through what we've taken out of the main and side decks. The extra deck is exactly the same as last week, so let's have a look at the omissions for this week's deck. So I've taken out the Shaddoll Hound. I just didn't really use it for the main effect, which was to flip it up and to get the effect to grab a card from the graveyard. We've taken our lava golems out of the side deck. We have something a little bit spicier for this week. The Allure of Darkness has come out, and we've taken out the MSTs both from the main and the side deck, as well as the 2 Forbidden Apocrypha that we did not see last week. Really the only thing I'm allowed to call is fusions, and I actually want to be able to keep my fusion monsters on my side of the field. So let's get into the profile. Let me know in the comments if there are any changes that you would make, and of course I'm more than happy to hear any feedback that you might have on the deck moving forward. Let me know so I can buy the product that we need. Okay, so the main deck is still going to be 3 Shaddoll Squamata. This is our basic starter card with Shaddoll Fusion, sending it to the graveyard to basically become any other Shaddoll monster we want. We are running 2 Wendi. I'm really liking the 2. I'm not seeing her in my hand as much. Really good for that special summon, but you don't want her in your hand too often. We are running 2 Ariel. Once again, 2's the perfect number. Really disrupts your opponent's graveyard if you can get her into the graveyard at the right time. We're running 2 Hedgehog. Great for either a flip summon off of a Reeshaddoll incarnation, or that sent to the graveyard to grab a Shaddoll monster. To our single Shaddolls, we're running a Shaddoll Beast, a Shaddoll Dragon, and we have added a Shaddoll Keios back in. I really think that 1000 attack boost or the special summon from the hand is actually going to be pretty useful moving forward. That's our Shaddoll engine sorted out. Let's move on to the rest of the monsters. We have Mathematician at 2 once again, as well as our single copy of Damage Juggler. Unfortunately, we couldn't add another copy to our deck this week, but moving forward, I am still going to be looking for one more of those. We have a Performage Stilts launcher, as well as 2 Performage Trick Clowns. I was thinking if I could get a monster on board for free. It is a spellcaster, so it works in synergy with the Union Carrier. All I need to be able to do is to get some monsters on the board, go into my Union Carrier and attach the Buster, the Wizard Buster, to the whichever fusion monster I've brought out to shut off the opponent's graveyard. Speaking of the Wizard Buster, there it is. We will be changing this up for a Destruction Sword, the one that shuts off the extra deck. That is the one we're mainly chasing, but this one will be pretty good, hopefully. We did get it off last week and it did shut our opponent down straight away. We are 1 Zephyros the Elite, a Shaddoll Fusion. Well, that's all our monsters. Okay, let's get into our spells. 3 Shaddoll Fusion. I have considered cutting this down to 2. We have been going first quite a bit. Maybe siding the 3rd one would be a good idea, just to give us more starting cards if we are first to go. 3 Shaddoll Fusion. I still think this is probably the best fusion card. Being able to get it back as well is pretty powerful. Sticking up with the 3 Super Polymerization, this card is great. I do think I'm going to have to start trying to pick up a few more generic Super Poly targets just to help me clear boards with those opponents, actually get something bigger on board than I can handle. We are running 2 Allure of Darkness. We have cut it back, as you saw with our emissions this week. I feel like the dark targets are getting thinner and thinner as we go through, so there's no need for too many Allure of Darknesses. Our one-offs are a Foolish Burial, the deck Lockdown to work with the Blackwing Zephyros, the Elite, and our Pot of Avarice. I have tested this deck a few times and I find myself filling up the graveyard quite a lot, so the Pot of Avarice will come in handy. Moving on to the spell cards, we have cut Reeshaddoll Incarnation to 2 in the main deck. We are siding the 3rd copy. I would like to give Necro Fusion a run. We are a pretty much going first deck, so I would like to see how this card goes. Being able to use resources from the graveyard and banish them to Fusion Summon is pretty good, even though they do get banished face down. Our singles will be a Shaddoll Core. Again, this will work with the Blackwing Zephyros, the Elite, and as well as the Solemn Strike that is freshly pulled from our opening this week. Fingers crossed with a few more traps in the deck, maybe we've got a little bit more defense. Let's have a look at the extra deck to see how it goes. It is exactly the same though. We're running 2 Shaddoll Wendi, 2 Shaddoll App Cologne, 1 Grista, 3 of our Bay Construct, 1 Anoyatalis, and 1 Shekinaga. They're our fusion monsters right there. We are running 1 Almirage for a Link 1. Our Link 2s are Shaddoll Construct, Union Carrier, and Bajinki Ahashima. And finally, our 15th card is 1 Daigusto Emerald. Moving forward, I would like to try and put something a little bit spicier in the deck for the Emerald, rather than, just so we can use the Ahashima effect a little bit more. Relying on having too many monsters in the graveyard early on is a little bit tricky sometimes, so getting Daigusto Emerald out of the deck and putting something a bit better in will be great. Maybe the Dweller that I've been talking about. Moving on to the extra deck for this week, this has changed significantly, so let me know what you think about the changes. This will be for mainly going second. We really struggle to break boards of the opponent, so let's see what you think. We have a couple of hand traps in Fantastical Dragon, Phantasme, and Saravis the Ancient and Ascended, followed by our second copy of Shaddoll Dragon for a little bit more back row removal. We're running a Kaiju engine. You saw that we pulled the Interrupted Kaiju Slumber the other week. In this week's opening, you would have seen that we pulled a few more Kaijus. So we're running 4 Kaijus in the deck and a single Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. I hopefully will be able to get a little bit of defense going on now, and we'll hopefully be able to break those boards a little bit when we're going second, because this deck seems to lose quite easily when the opponent has a big board set up. We're running our 3 copies of Twin Twister. We need to be able to remove that back row. We are running our 3rd copy of Reeshaddoll Incarnation, as well as our triple Lost Wind. I'm hoping this deck will take us to a couple of wins this week. We do need to try and build on our win streak after last week's record, putting us back to pretty much 50%. I would like to keep it above 50, moving towards 60 in the coming weeks. We're starting to get a decent deck together. It's not the deck that I would like to finish with, but it is something that should be able to see a few more wins moving forward. Don't forget to comment down below what you think of the deck, any changes that you'll make, and let's go and play some Yu-Gi-Oh! It's time to play some Yu-Gi-Oh! We are 6 episodes in. We have a current record of 16 matches, 8 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw. We are looking to put that win rate up a little bit higher this week. Let's get cracking into game 1, and we will see how we go. First round, we went up against one of those annoying banished decks. As you can see in the opponent's hand, he has the arsehole card, Mystic Might. He sets 4 in his first turn, passes over to me, and flips over that stupid lose 1 turn. Now against Shaddolls, that card is an absolute bitch because I do so much special summoning, it's not funny. All of my monsters were put into defense mode, and I had very few ways to get that lose 1 turn off the board. He goes into an extravagance in his second turn, banishes 6. I fuse using Necro Fusion from my graveyard to bring a Winder out on the field. He doesn't have to lose 1 turn anymore. He will only get to special summon once, but it's not going to affect him too much. The Eater of Millions banishes my Winder, and it's back over to me. I go into an App Cologne, go into a Union Carrier to try and lock out his extra deck or his graveyard that he probably won't be using too many effects in. Anyway, he negates the effect of that. He stops my draw from Beast with an Ash, and I have to pass turn. He attacks into my App Cologne, banishes it with Eater of Millions, and uses a Necro Phase to kill my Union Carrier. I am top decking, I am in a lot of trouble, and this game is absolute bullshit. We have a Shaddoll Fusion in hand. We can't do anything with that card, so we pass it back to him. Let him swing for a massive 2800 total. He sets 1 more card, and it is over to him. Game on to him. Let's go to game 2 to see if I can fare any better this time. I drop a Foolish Burial with a Squamata in the grave, sending the Reeshaddoll Incarnation. I special summoned. I'll flip summon the Wendi. It gets attacked by the Grand Magi. I use another face down Incarnation to bring back the Wendi. Fingers crossed I'll get some effects here. I get to search out an Shaddoll Fusion. I get to special a Dragon from deck. Go into a Construct. It gets Bottomless Trap Hold. What a group of chain links there, but the Solemn Judgment absolutely kills my Shaddoll Fusion. There's not a lot I can do there. I do get the Shaddoll Fusion back to hand. I go into a Winder. The Winder will be negated and put into defense position, so he will be able to attack over that pretty easily once it is his turn. I send the Damage Juggler to grave, to grab a Trick Clown after banishing it, and once again I am almost playing the top deck game with probably one of the most bullshit decks out there. I set a Twin Twister during my turn. I set a Trick Clown. I activate the effect to bring it back. Take the 1000 damage. It's over to me to draw once more. I don't know why I decided to side in the Lost Winds. He doesn't do any special summoning whatsoever, so using that will be absolutely pointless in the deck, but it did work as discard fodder. Unfortunately, he had another lose 1 turn set after I destroyed it. Here we go. He banishes a Necro Face. I have to Solemn Strike that one. I have to. So he battles and attacks over my Clown once again. I bring it back, taking another 1000 damage. Had I ever left the Trick Clown in the graveyard, I would have had enough monsters in there to use the Pot of Avarice to maybe give me a little bit, but it didn't really work that way. So I get to draw again. I drop one into Necro Face, and I Avarice for 2 draws. I can't even get an attack off with my Wendi. He sends it back to hand using Storming Mirror Force. He banishes 10 and swings into me for 4000 damage. We are 0-1 after the first round. Let's have a look at round 2. Round 2 was against DDDs. I really like this deck. It can put some huge damage on the board. Really worth watching this one. I thought I had a pretty good first turn here. I was able to bring out the Union Carrier combo with Wizard Dragon. He goes into one of his contract cards. Doesn't bring any cards out from the extra deck, but that bitch ass DDD monster that he brought out is an absolute beast. Seems to do quite a lot of damage. I really need to get better at choosing which card I use for the App Cologne Send to Grave effect. I always grab a card I want in my hand rather than grabbing a card that I can send to the graveyard for an effect. So I go into Almirage here, pass turn over to him. He sets his scales, attacks over my Almirage for 2800. I have a negated construct on the field. I go into another construct using construct's graveyard effect to bring a card back. He lost wind my on the field construct, halving its attack and negating its effect, so I can't attack his big boy that's up on the field right now. He goes into a fusion monster from his graveyard, kills my construct. I get my Shaddoll Fusion back to hand, but it is too late. He takes game 1. It is 0-1 once again, and I need some help this week. Game 2 is just about to get started. Let's see how we go. I opted to go first, but I passed turn straight away, having absolutely nothing in my hand. If you can see that, I have 3 Shaddoll Fusions in my hand. He attacks 3 times, and it is game. That was probably the quickest game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I have ever played in my life. Guys, leave a comment down below. Feel sorry for me. Put some love hearts down there. A couple of thumbs up, because that one really stung. We are going into game 3 now against Thunder Dragons. Now, this is a deck that I didn't think would be able to do what it can do. I will spoil it here. I did lose this game again, but boy oh boy, was it good watching Thunder Dragons rip through my deck like this. I've never enjoyed a loss so much. The artifact engine is insane. He stopped me from getting anywhere near my extra deck in pretty much both games here. Let's have a look at his next turn. So I did get to Solemn Strike his Trisbane, otherwise all of my back row would have been destroyed. He gets rid of a Shaddoll Fusion off the field. He activates another Thunder Dragon card, or Thunder card in his hand to destroy another back row, and there goes the 3rd back row card. Wow, he is absolutely obliterating me here. He leaves me 400 life points, goes into an artifact Dagda, special summons a Thunder Dragon Dark from his deck, bringing it back to hand in the end phase. Once again, activating a Thunder monster from hand, destroying his Dagda to bring out an artifact Scythe, again locking me out of the extra deck. No choice but to scoop. Let's go to game 2 to see how he cleaned this one up as well. So I started off with a Foolish Burial. He activated a Dimension Shifter, so everything that I want to send to the graveyard is getting banished instead. And am I sitting in a really poor position already? This deck works the exact opposite to the Shadolls. Shadolls really need their graveyard effects, whereas the Thunder Dragons, they thrive on their banished zone effects. So he's really got the upper hand on me here. Over to me. I draw for turn. I grab a Super Poly from the draw, but I have a Shaddoll Fusion in hand where I can go into an App Cologne. I negate the Link Karibo that's on the field, and I send a Reeshaddoll Incarnation. I flip up my Beast to try and grab me 2 more cards. I send the Juggler, grabbing a Clown, and I go into a Super Poly to get rid of one of his monsters to bring a Winder out. That'll give him only 1 special summon. So I think I'm sitting pretty good here. I get 2200 direct here, and I'm feeling okay, except he drops a Thunder Dragon Fusion, goes into a Titan, and just kills over my Winder. Winder is too small for this deck. It just can't keep up. He destroys my back row, which was an Shaddoll Fusion. He destroys my App Cologne. I get App Cologne's effect. Once again, I use Ariel to banish 3 cards. I don't know if that was the right 3 cards to banish, but so be it. That's what I did. So he's got the Dagda on the board. I draw for turn. I have half of my life points left, and he brings out another artifact Scythe, locking me out of my extra deck. There's not a lot I can do. I set my Trick Clown, and I pass it back to him. He destroys a Trick Clown. I have no choice but to bring it back. I get 1 more turn. He goes into the Aloof Lupine. He's got a Thunder Dragon Matrix in hand, an IP Masquerena on the board. He goes into the Dagda, destroys the Dagda, and special summons the Scythe. He locks me out. I have not that many life points left. All I can do is set the monster that I have on the board. He turns all of his cards to an attack position, brings out a second Thunder Dragon Titan, attacks over my Shaddoll Falco. It goes to the graveyard, and I take 4200 to the face. That is it for this week, guys. We went 0 for 3. I am in a little bit of trouble. I thought the deck was going to be looking really good, and a few of those turns seemed to be okay. But The record will be up on the board for you. Let's talk about it in the recap. Wow, who would have thought after 6 weeks I would have gone X3? I think I should use the extra $6 from our budget to buy a couple of boxes of tissues, because the result this week would have you in fits of laughter and me in tears. Like the budget in the video said, we've spent over $350 to come up with 0 wins this week. It's a little bit sad if you ask me, but I'm still hopeful that we're going to make an amazing deck out of this Shaddoll deck. The main deck this week, I think the changes we made were great. I really had no issues, except with the addition of the Stilts launcher. I really think that needs to come out. Maybe the 3rd copy of Mathematician, or another copy, or the single copy of Armageddon Knight needs to come back in. I also, after being locked out by Artifact Scythe, considered bringing in the copy of Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, that we locked out or took out of that deck at the end of last week. Some other main deck cards that we might be able to look forward to in the future. Maybe a copy of Chaos Dragon Legionnaire. I'm pretty sure you only need light and dark monsters. I don't think they need to be dragon monsters to summon, and we do have enough of each in our deck that we could be able to get that card on the board. I've also considered a copy of Dark Arm Dragon as well, just to give us a little bit more spot removal and a little bit more defense to clear out some of those big boards that we have so much trouble getting around going second sometimes. The extra deck worked well. It was great to see Union Carrier combo go off a couple of times. Really happy with the way that worked. Although the times we did pull it off, the cards relying on their graveyard wasn't actually that great. So I still don't know if the Wizard Buster is the best option yet. We will still go for the swords, the destruction sword. So there will be more Breakers of Shadow openings in the future. The side deck, we didn't really get to see too much of it. We saw Twin Twister when we needed it, but I guess using some of the Kaiju cards might have come in handy. I would like to probably get my hands on some Gamma Seals and maybe some more Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, so we can run a proper engine in case we are forced to go second. I do think that moving forward I am going to have to grab some Eternity Code. We need a win condition, and I guess Shaddoll Dragon is one of those win conditions, but the new card Access Code Talker is a pretty badass card. Being able to use all of those different attributes and elements from the graveyard to get rid of a card on the field is going to be pretty awesome. So I run a few different attributes, so I think that the card can be quite useful in a deck. Unfortunately, I can't just go and buy it. I am going to have to try and pack it, and I can see it costing me an arm and a leg in the long run. So maybe in the future, that's where our episode 10 budget is going to go. The matchups we had today, I guess, were pretty ordinary. I didn't expect to see the Banish deck first up. Necrophase is such a degenerate card. Being back at 3 makes it really tough to get around. And the Grand Marju play after he activated the Pot of Desires to banish 10 really hurt a little bit. I wasn't expecting it, but I guess I need to be prepared for that stuff. We're going to be coming up against rogue decks all the time, especially while we're playing online. So it's very important that I actually have some sort of plan in the side deck that's going to help me get out of those jams. The DDD matchup was intense. I enjoyed playing that one, but I think the favourite game of the week was probably the Thunder Dragon matchup. I haven't played Thunder Dragon since Colossus had been banned, and it's good to see the Titan control variant is actually doing stuff. The artifact engine is just so strong. Scythe is a card. I understand now why people think it needs to be banned. To shut decks like Shaddoll's out for a whole turn and then do it again the following turn is just, I would say, unfair, but it's a card game, and you have to really enjoy moments like that when you see another person doing what they can with their deck. All in all, I had fun this week. It was really good to get those pulls. That's probably our best opening this week. Unfortunately, the duels didn't back up such a great result. We're sitting at under 50% now. We need to get that back up. I can see in the upcoming weeks that we are going to be able to reclaim some sort of glory in our openings and in our matches. So stay tuned. Thank you for sticking around for this long. If you enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments, and I will see you in episode 7.